Hi friends, this is composer Tim Hinck back here with a fifth installment of this little series to talk about musical composition. I want to thank Philip, Joe, Holly, and Beth for following along here and joining the conversation about new music. So when I sit down to write a piece of music, I think about two things. I think about ideas, primarily, musical ideas, extra musical ideas. But I also think about rich musical material. A lot of times when composers write, we get trapped by thinking about what needs to come next. But what I'm really interested in now is writing music of rich developmental value, a richness of possibilities for various uses, development, thematic material, music that has memorable melodies or motives. So for this piece, in thinking about ideas, orbits. I think about gravity, attraction, I think about friction, resistance between objects or people. So I'm looking for musical ideas that are very different from each other, so that there's a tension and a polarity, but also an attraction to pull these ideas together. I've written two very different sketches, one simple and one complex and dissonant. The sketch I shared from last week was very angular with dissonant counterpoint. The one from this week is maybe almost too simplistic, so the polar opposite. Let me show you how I'm going to bring these two very different ideas into close contact with each other. Like I mentioned last week, most of my sketches are fully formed little miniature compositions, and I know that I probably won't keep much of the material that I write for them. From last week's dissonant sketch, I'm going to keep two different things. I really like this little scampering scherzo section, which I just improvised quickly, but when I went back to it and looked at it again, it has this in the upper voice of the composition. Progression of E flat major, B flat minor, and C major, G minor, which you hear, of course, in Petrushka and all over Stravinsky and a lot of other early 20th century composers. But in the left hand of my sketch, the chords are B minor, G major, E major, B major, which of course provides some really nice crunchy bitonality. The other thing I'm keeping from last week's dissonant sketch is this nice ending, which is also two different dissonant keys at the same time, and I really like it. I like it so much that I think I'm going to use it quite a bit in the composition of Orbits throughout. So bringing together this simplistic tune and some of the crunchy bitonal dissonant chords of last week's sketch, I started by enriching the simple tune with more complex chords to bring it closer into the realm of that other more dissonant sketch. Then, as I was orchestrating this new combined material, I made sure to place that nice bitonal crunchy chord that I'm going to use a lot, and you'll hear it right at the ending. So now we have a really useful passage of music that contains elements of two very different sketches in it. I'd love to hear what you have to think, what ideas you might have used if you were composing this, and I'd love to hear what some of you composers and musicians are working on in your personal practice as well. Comment below to start a conversation, and follow this link to see earlier episodes of this series.